What is Cookbook? Where did that come from?
So we used to have this space
Yeah.
in my parents' basement.
Okay.
And my buddy, who is now becoming a doctor, made a hard switch from audio engineer to like, I want to become a doctor.
Yeah, I want to make money, not spend money.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
He helped me set up the space, and he's
Yeah.
like, well, now we need a name. I'm like, well, obviously it's going to be Cookbook, and it just kind of off the top of my head.
You just made that up?
Yeah, it was a joke, and
man.
he's like, oh, that's hilarious. And
It kept me awake like 2 nights ago.
Well,
I was like, where did he come up with that?
the concept is like we keep adding like ideas to something. It's like you keep adding recipes to a cookbook.
Okay.
So, like we keep cooking it.
Yeah.
Ideas
I thought
and
you like
things
cooked the
and-
books, like
Oh,
the accounting.
that's true.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's not what
We're
we
just
thought.
We were
Yeah.
talking about that, about how like you try to you add all these expenses onto your business. You make
Yeah.
all this money and then you buy all this gear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I know lots of people. They're like, "Oh man, I made way too much money. You got to spend so much." I'm like, "That's
Yeah.
not a problem."
No. I
Like,
spent
if I
too
had
much
that
money.
problem,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be great.
The other way.
So we're in a house. We're in Aaron's house here
Mm-hmm.
in Grimsby, and it's like this is like a classic like Canadian house.
Oh,
Like it's
for
like
sure.
a log cabin,
It's
hardwood floors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a dorm room. I know. It's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Do you record in this room?
Yeah, we do. I mean, a lot of vocals in here.
A lot of synths in here.
A lot of
Yeah.
sense. I mean,
Yeah.
anything we can plug in.
Yeah.
It's going to be recorded in here. But yeah, I would say mostly vocals.
Right.
Some smaller instruments like
Right.
guitars, acoustic things like that.
Yeah.
If I'm getting into shakers.
And you
or-
do it in the living room too, some stuff?
Yeah. I mean, we can walk around later. And,
Sure, yeah.
but we got a piano out there.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we'll, like the other day, we did, we have a project that we do. We were talking about a family of things.
Yeah.
And we did like 3 live off the floor videos that we did there. Where we
Right.
just like drums and keys
Yeah.
and synths.
Yeah, I do
and-
that too in my living room. I have a living room similar to that. And
Yeah.
the reverb is great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And you record, so when you record piano out there, and we'll get some B-rolls,
Mhm.
but like when you record piano, do you like throw up blankets or anything, or you just let it flow?
Man, we usually let it flow.
It's usually like it's a rather dampened piano,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so we're not really fighting with a lot of that reverb. And,
Yeah.
and that space is not too reverbial.
Yeah.
Also,
What's that?
we'll sometimes do like paper towel. like,
Yeah.
get that like fake felt
Oh,
kind of
cool.
vibe
It's
on
not
it.
try paper
Easiest.
towel.
Yeah, you just throw some paper. You just drape it over, and if you want to tape it to keep it there, but then it honestly works. It's slightly different than felt.
Yeah.
My piano at home in my own place has the real old. It's probably my
Gorgeous.
favorite.
Oh,
We got
my
it for
gosh.
free, and it's like over 100 years old,
Yeah.
and we got it tuned up and fixed up, and it's like my favorite
Yeah, it
music
sounds
piano I ever had.
unreal.
Oh
Ever heard.
man, I have like a piano very similar to that. I have to
Yeah.
tune it like once a year just before we record, and then it
Yeah.
goes out immediately after. But yeah, I've done some of that felt, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's hang out on this paper towel subject for a second. Are we talking about brown paper towel or white paper towel?
White
paper
soft
towel.
cotton
Soft
paper
paper
towel.
towel.
Yeah.
Downy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going home and
Or
getting some
Charmin,
paper
either
towel.
one.
Can you use toilet paper?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it would
man.
be
I
not
mean,
thick enough. Well, you could.
Depends on the ply, I
It's
suppose.
pretty
I'm
fun.
gonna prove you wrong. I wondered, there's a lot more gear in here than I saw on Instagram before coming here. But I was wondering, like, a lot of the studios we go to, there's like an emphasis on rack mount gear and recording equipment, and less of an interest in the creative pieces, the
Yeah.
instruments.
Yeah.
A lot of studios have drums, but there's not a ton of studios who will do this, especially home studios or smaller
Yeah.
studios.
Yeah.
What is your philosophy on that? Because I want to just say, I love it. I think
Yeah.
that creative tools are more important. Nobody ever is like listening to a song and being like, I love when that preamp kicks in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
it's like, these are the tools. So what is your philosophy on that?
You want to start? Or-
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of simple for us, I think. We're living in an age where everybody who has a computer essentially can be a producer.
Yeah.
In a very general way.
Yeah.
We're living in an age where it's not about how many years of practice you have on your instrument.
Right.
It's about how well you know your computer and
Right.
how well you can actually just make sound.
True.
Where Aaron and I come from is not exactly the same. It's like Aaron and I have devoted our lives to our instruments first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Aaron's, a crazy drummer. Like,
Okay.
Thanks.
I'm a keyboard player. And a
Crazy
singer.
good or just like
Crazy,
There's something wrong.
just
Something wrong with
terrible.
it.
No, he's amazing. I feel
Yeah.
lucky to work with him, and I do piano and singing and all that kind of stuff, and so we together, our I'd say our skill and what makes our space unique and our music unique is the way that we come from it with the instruments first.
Okay, that's cool.
And so having these,
Yeah.
having a Rhodes, like a real warm Bell Rhodes,
Yeah.
and having a Juno 60,
Totally.
and having a piano outside and
Yeah.
drums upstairs, it's all essential to us. I mean, we wouldn't feel as creative if we were just using that right there.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one of the newest additions is the Prophet 6, which I use on everything and
Yeah. I mean, we're
play
gonna.
live. And
I really want to talk a lot about keys because you have a great selection of keys in here. Let's do that. Let's talk about the Juno 60 because let me know, Jordan, if this is like a problem for a sec. But this one is beautiful. It's in.
Thank you.
Wait a second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was confusing the 106. So this is the 60.
And let me guess, the
Holy
reason you wear it is
shit.
because it had the modulation, right? Or no?
Oh no, the other
Well,
one's a
I have,
portmanteau.
Portamento, I mean.
Yeah.
So I have and I have a Roland HS60.
Okay.
Which
yeah.
is the
home
Juno
version.
160, the home version with
Yeah.
speakers.
That's what Peter had.
Yeah.
It is literally identical from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have the ARP,
Okay.
and it doesn't like the memory bank is a little bit weirder, but I just love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It's a massive unit. It's too big sometimes when you
The
turn the
sound-
stereo on.
Yeah. The chorus on it is just like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
What everything is inspired by.
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
it's true. Yeah. Do you use this a lot?
Yeah, we definitely
Yeah,
do.
we do.
That one, like, that was I think our first real synth purchase.
Okay. Yeah.
We, when we did our EP for Family of Things, we had one song that, like, did well
Yeah.
on Spotify.
Yeah.
Well being, like, you have a lot of streams, but you're
Yeah.
like, wow, I actually made $1,000.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Yeah. No, I hear you.
And we were like, we should just take that money and buy a Juno 60.
By Juno. Oh man.
But the guy who sent it to us, it was priced really well. I guess he had multiple of them, and he sent us the wrong one.
Oh.
So he sent us the one that was in better condition than the
Oh
one
my
we paid
gosh.
for.
Yeah.
But he had serviced the one that was
Yeah.
in not as
Yeah.
good as like physical condition.
Right.
Sent us the one that wasn't serviced, so we got money back on it as well. And he's like, just keep it. Like we got
Keep
to
the good
wow.
one
That's
and
awesome.
get it serviced.
Yeah, so,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, I had to eventually get all the chips replaced in mine.
Okay.
But now it's working perfect and it sounds good. It doesn't look as colorful and beautiful as this,
Mhm.
although I did put wood cheeks on it
Nice.
just to feel better on the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is great. What's interesting about the DX7, and I just recorded with this recently,
Okay.
and these are cheaper,
Mhm.
but they're
Mhm.
still really cool, but they are going up in price, is it's easier to mix these because it's like a mono and it's like one sound.
Smaller sound.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
wide.
So talk to me about this purchase and use
Yeah,
that.
actually, that's like some of the gear we didn't have to purchase because our friends just don't have space.
Oh, okay, nice.
So that's actually our buddies, and it's been here for a
Nice.
few months, and
It's our newest.
it's our newest.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it's just
Cool.
like, I mean, I'm pretty sure this was like Oliver Mac DeMarco's record and stuff.
Mhm.
And,
right. Yeah.
So it's just that that vibe. It's super like you can kind of get that like chill lo-fi kind of like.
Yep. It's
thing out of
very
it.
grainy too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd say that these are like perfectly contrasting. That's the way we have them this way.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're getting such warmth, from
Lush.
and lush, rich
Yes.
tone,
Yes.
and then this points through. And it's like you get good. I found that we're working on a new single with another producer, and we were getting some like really kind of buzzy piano-y chorusy sounds that you don't get at all up there. And
Right.
So
That's
it's like
true.
it's a nice counterpart.
That's true. Yeah. If you want that, 90s
or 90s
electric piano. Yeah.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah. That's right. I find this is so much fun to goof off with, and it can
Mm.
make these massive stadium sounds.
Yeah.
But then in a track, I always end up muting them just
Yeah,
because they're
I
like
know, they're too much.
just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just are carving the crap. out of
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
EQ
exactly.
Afterward.
Yeah.
What I need to do when I use this is don't turn this on.
I know, but it's just so
Mm.
appealing.
Yeah.
Like-
Oh, yeah. It is the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
but sometimes you don't need
It's
that.
just way too much.
Yeah. I saw somebody just posted one of these for $450, which is a pretty good price.
Sick.
Although people who are watching at home who bought one for $20 20 years ago would probably be laughing. But like, I was thinking about getting it, I just didn't.
Our
I think
problem.
that's about what Pete spent.
Yeah, you
That's
spent
fair.
about that too. I would say our problem is we got into this world too late. You know, I'm talking
same,
to like
same.
to people who've been doing it for a lot longer, and they're like, "You spent how much for a Juno 60?" I'm
Yeah.
like, you spent how much for a space?
It's not you spending that money. That's just what they go for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
what
like I
they go
really
for,
missed
yeah.
the ball. Like if I got into it
Same.
5 years earlier.
We did a tour with a guy my age who's got a Rhodes for $200 at a thrift
Oh
shop.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Tim
Thrift
Mann's
shop.
the same way. Like his
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, Tim?
Tim.
Yeah.
$200
That's so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
That's
A
right.
friend of mine.
And I got it for I actually got a Rhodes, the exact same one that you have, for $1,000 this
Wow.
summer, and it was in excellent shape. I got it all tuned up and everything.
Mhm.
But I hopped in the car and drove to Mississauga immediately because I was like $1,000. That's a good deal.
You won't get that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
That actually, interestingly enough, our guitar player in our band, he just had it in a storage unit in Toronto. 'Cause
Oh wow.
He's like, why don't we just set it
apartments
up
in
here?
Toronto.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys just like keep it as long as it's getting played. I'm happy.
Oh
So,
nice.
that's another great piece
Yeah.
that we just haven't had to
Yeah.
fish out too much for. So
Yeah, the Rhodes is a great piece. And is everything wired in?
yeah,
And
yeah.
ready
So
to go?
I have it running through this mixer. It
Oh,
might be a
okay.
little bit messy because we, like I was saying, last week we were doing all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah.
we were pulling cables out and stuff. But
Yeah.
on a perfect day, everything's right through there. Flip on a switch.
That's a
you're
great
getting
idea.
stereo or mono. Great signal into the API.
Oh, okay. So what do you do for like the Juno? Because the Juno is stereo
so I'll
most of the time, right?
I'm pretty sure I have it running through 1 and 2.
Okay, 2 channels. Yeah.
Same with the Prophet. I think is 4 and 5.
Yeah. Dude.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Then like I'll have like 2 monos coming from this area. And
Yeah.
I'll just kind of switch depending on what I'm using.
And so then in your, where does this go then next?
So then I run that into the API channel 1
Oh,
and 2.
1 and 2.
I'll
Sorry,
link-
Jordan. We're giving you lots of ass shots here.
It's all right.
We'll go back there. Let's stay here for 1 second. Okay, yeah, this is very intriguing because for me, I have a desk that has, I have a sub 37.
Yeah.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Sub 37. I have a Rhodes. I have a bunch, and I have a couple little dinky little things, and it's always like unplugging.
Yeah.
And I want to go this route because you can get a mixer for fairly cheap.
Yeah.
But is there any problems with doing that before going to
Sometimes-
the API, as opposed to taking your profit right into an API, which would be very pure?
Yeah. Sometimes
it's finicky.
it gains it kind of weird.
Okay.
Sometimes I love that. Like
Okay.
it kind of just adds that extra heat,
Yeah.
that extra bite.
Yeah.
There's another unit that was kind of looking at getting. It's I can't remember the exact like letter number after.
Okay.
But it's an old like 70s Yamaha 4-channel
Okay.
little mixer.
Yeah.
Actually the guy that we work with a lot, Pete, he does a similar thing where he runs all of his guitar pedal board, his synths,
Oh,
everything
wow.
runs in through that.
Okay.
And then he's just like 2 channels out and kind of thing. It just
Interesting.
saves him a lot of.
Are you
lot
ever
of
doing
time.
more than one synth at a time through that?
When we did the live off the floor, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
so then all of your synths are just 2 channels in the.
I would
Oh.
split so I ran a bunch of stuff in through there
Yeah.
depending on what was going to be played independent,
Right.
and then what would be playing at the same time.
Right.
I ran in separately.
Okay.
Just kind of DI'd from out there and
Right.
and
Oh,
brought
back
it
into
here.
here. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Well, that's a really cool route to go, and I want to look at that. But I was worried about if you've got a profit and you've got the 3124, like
Yeah.
you really want to just go right to that. You
Yeah,
don't want to
for
introduce
sure.
somebody like that.
but I think sometimes it's a vibe,
Yeah.
and like if I don't want that vibe,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not
That's
much
right.
work for me to just plug
But the
in.
convenience of that is so great. And sometimes if I'm writing or something, it's nice to set, like, you could set an ARP on here and then go over and play something
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about writing
Mm-hmm.
before the actual
Yeah.
recording stage, it doesn't actually,
That's
it's
true.
not mattering about if we're getting any messiness.
That's a
going
good
through,
point.
Right? It's
Yeah.
just you're getting the sounds, you're getting the vibe.
Yeah.
So.
No, that is a good point.
Do you want to switch again? Continuity, Mike. I just don't want you to not be heard.
You have the OP1. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever seen one of those.
No?
Maybe once. Maybe Tim had one. But yeah.
He picked
Yeah.
one up. Actually, I think, Tim, if you're watching, he got a little jealous when he saw mine. He's like, man, I really want one.
Oh, really?
I
I have no desire to get one, but everyone
Yeah.
says like they're amazing.
They're really, I mean, it's just like, especially for the writing process, I
Yeah.
find like you can just like quickly throw up whatever.
Okay.
Whether it's through the like, it has like the synth side, it has like the drum machine side.
Right.
You can-
Sampling side.
Yeah, like you can sample through all of it. Like you can just
Interesting.
kind of throw up something that's
Yeah.
unique and a vibe, and
Yeah.
then go from there. So I've definitely found that's been like a huge part. That like we'll get a drum
Okay.
beat going on
What's
this
this, an
one.
RX-15?
Yeah, it's just an
Interesting.
old drum machine.
Yeah.
It's kind of finicky, but you get
It's kind of old new, right? Like
Yeah.
it'd be 90s, right?
exactly. Yeah. It's not the OG.
No,
you know,
but interesting.
it does what it
I'd
does.
say that they used to. This is like it sparks creativity that you won't get if you. It's like it brings up ideas that you won't think of yourself.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think that's there's a value to having instruments that aren't just so the only thing I can do on the roads is play
What you can
chords
do.
that I can do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Whereas this exists out of doing things that you won't think of doing.
That's a great
You know
point.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And so like Aaron and I will start creative ideas with the OP1 very often.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because it'll
Cool.
spark new, and then I go to something practical like the roads,
Yeah.
or I go to the piano,
Yeah.
and then you build stuff around this kind of unique sound.
That's what the amazing thing about electronic music and allowing computers, like a lot of people will insult electronic musicians because you can press a button and make a song. But there is something, this creative process you're talking about with, I've done it with the Sub 37, you put it on latch mode and you get this ARP that's going completely random,
Yeah.
lots of different notes falling all over itself.
Yeah.
And then I can sit there with an acoustic guitar and I'm
Mhm.
hearing these new combination of chords, new notes,
exactly.
and be creative from that. That's interesting.
I was listening to a Song Exploder, that podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
So I forget which artist it was, but he was talking. He's like writes everything on his acoustic guitar.
Okay.
And he went to his drummer. He's like, man, like I just need something different.
Yeah.
And he said he gave him one of those. I don't know, maybe it was an 808 or something like
Right.
that. And he sat down with an old drum machine, and it was like the ability to be able to start from something that he wouldn't normally be able to have someone play,
Oh, okay.
or to like
Yeah.
for himself to be able to like start something. It changed the complete sound of his whole project.
Right.
and it's unique for the last 50 years. It's like this is a new way of making music that
True.
that for all of music used to be and always has been concepts from the brain 1st.
Yeah.
Melody first,
Yeah.
rhythm first. But now we're into a new era where it's not like you rely. I mean, some people rely. That's what I was saying earlier. Some people rely on technology to make
Right.
the music.
Yeah.
We're not coming from that place. We're using technology to spark what we can do.
Right. Okay.
You
That's a
know,
good point.
So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah.
It offers 1,000 million opportunities.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really cool. Let's wait, before we move, let's talk about that little cassette Tascam unit. I so badly want a working rack mount Tascam cassette deck.
Yeah.
What's going on with this thing? I've never seen
So,
one like this.
Yeah, my buddy actually, he lives down the street. His dad used to sell sound gear.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest market for him was like churches
Right.
all around
Oh, right. Yeah.
Ontario
Sure.
and Canada. And
Yeah.
he has like, not necessarily the coolest era of
Right.
gear, but he has a basement with like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of just like weird
Yeah.
pieces that he doesn't use anymore.
Interesting.
And so the Tascam he bought with the
Looks like they
238S.
maybe go together, right?
Yeah. So
What are the 8 VUs for?
you can track 8 different channels.
Oh my
mix
gosh.
them. On the
To
board.
with the board. So that's
Oh,
why
okay.
they run in
Yeah.
10. It's like 8 channels on the board, 8 channels
Oh, cool.
to the cassette tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super
It's
interesting.
like an elaborate version of their Porta Studios. Or
Yeah,
something.
and I know a lot of guys have the Porta Studios
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
even Pete, he uses that all the time. Like on our new single that we're doing, we big old tape loop on that little
Oh,
4.
yeah,
It's a 4
cool.
channel.
Yeah,
Those things.
yeah,
And
or
then
some are
physically
two.
manipulating
Yeah.
the tape.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the sound.
slowing
Oh,
it down
cool.
with
Yeah,
It's
your
really
thumb
cool.
right.
Yeah.
He like tore the shield off so he could actually like access the tape loads.
Yeah, well, and there's some way to, you can't just start playing tape loops on it. You have to adjust it somehow. You have to
Okay.
mod it somehow.
Gotcha.
So I got a tape loop cassette, and
Mhm.
it wasn't, there's that like little bit of a skip. So I think
Yeah.
that there's something in it that you have to mod. But anyway,
Gotcha.
so do you record in 8 tracks to that?
Yeah, sometimes more or less it's just bouncing stuff through to
Right,
get that vibe.
yes, yeah.
Just the ease of like a lot of stuff I do is like custom drum tracks for people and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay,
Because
cool.
it's like I find that's most people, if they're renting a space, it's
Yeah.
like at least half a day of setting up and getting sound
Sure,
before you can
okay.
get going. And
Yeah,
so yeah, I've found like if I want to get a little more like knuckle
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
sound, sometimes I'll bust it through the cassette.
and then send it to them.
Yeah, or no, like record it straight, and after I'm already done recording and comping, I'll
Yeah.
bust my comp through straight back to the computer just to get like
Oh, okay.
a different mix to pair with what I already have.
And
like,
does
dry
the
and-
timing stay good?
I mean, you gotta move it around a
Right.
little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. you
Okay. That's
kinda
cool.
Mess with it in Pro Tools. This
Yeah.
is what I mainly use.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So just before we move over to this gear, we have a sub fatty.
Mhm.
Is it still warming up now, or is it ready to go?
Oh,
It's ready to go. Turned on an hour ago.
And then what's this cork? The mini log.
Mini
Right?
log,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what everyone is going for now.
Well, when
Yes,
we
yeah.
went for that was my first purchase
Okay.
maybe 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was only $600. I don't know how much they go
Yeah,
for
yeah.
now. But
Could do
it was
anything.
$400. It was
Yeah.
cheap. It
When
was-
they first put it
Sure.
out, they had it, I think, at a lower price. And
Well, because they have so many bigger ones now, but
But
Yeah.
I love it because there's something to say about small keys that makes you play less.
okay.
I'm used to playing like
Oh, I
lots.
see. And this is a perspective coming from a piano player.
Yeah, coming from a
Interesting.
pianist, it's like I'm not a synth player. I'm a piano player,
Right.
and so for me, I've been in the last however many years training myself to find like what's appropriate for what instrument. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna play less on the Roland because it's so huge. You're gonna
Right.
play more on the Prophet because you can get a bigger range and you feel the sound without it going like this. You can
Sure.
pin it in.
Sure.
Whereas this guy has some of my favorite synthy or stringy pads, brassy
Right.
pads. You're not gonna. Your hands are so small that your hands don't fit on the key, so you're only gonna do a
Forces.
small little chord.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's kind of neat.
Why would you, aside from nostalgia, why would you hang on to that when you have a sub fatty, you have all of this, and then you have a profit?
Because the sounds are just straight up different.
Seriously.
It's analog, and it's. I think that there's like 7 or 8 sounds that I will always hold on to, at least for now.
Wow.
I
the
just
other
love
thing
them.
he does a lot with it too is he just stacks.
Yeah.
So he'll
Okay.
he'll have one part
Right.
that's like 5
I
individual
see.
tracks
I see. Yeah.
Very
that he just
balanced.
kind of like
Yeah.
and it ends up being like just this massive
Interesting.
lush sound.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What was I going to ask
And
you?
actually, one more thing. It used to be our bass synth too, before we had the sub.
Okay. Now, when you guys play live, you're in a band. When you play
Mhm.
live, what do you take with you? Like, this is really heavy and very
No,
expensive. Yeah.
We don't bring that. We
Yeah.
bring this.
One day I'd like to.
Okay. Yeah. So you
So,
bring the profit,
Prophet's
right?
my main tool, and I throw a piano through MIDI for my
Okay.
laptop. So I just have a.
And play piano on the profit.
Mhm.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We did have the mini log and the Prophet.
Yeah.
And it just and he was running like guitar pedals for vocal effects. And
Right.
we just like, it got too much and we kind of pared it down.
Yeah.
And I used to have a Korg SV1
Okay.
for like real piano sounds, but it just got too heavy, and
Yeah.
our sound changed. And so I only use piano on a few songs, and
Yeah.
it's the perfect range.
Let's talk about the profit.
Yeah.
If we're not
Yeah.
changing.
Here, I'll let you
Moving
slide
this
in.
a little bit.
Yeah, it needs to be tightened.
So, I don't know very much about profits. I think they're so beautiful.
They are beautiful.
But again, tell me why. Like what does this do that
Mhm.
when you have some of these original analog synths that you can't create over here?
Where do I begin? It's
Yeah.
what it does. I find, and I've tried a lot of synths, but
Mhm.
you don't have to work hard to get an earth-shatteringly beautiful sound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the banks are pretty.
The banks
Ridiculous
themselves
as they
are cinematic.
Mhm.
They are nostalgic. They are warmer than anything. I mean, not as warm as Juno,
Sure.
but it offers such a big, imagination.
Okay.
And I find myself being drawn to it before others, even before the Juno.
Really?
Uh,
It's just quicker then.
it's
quicker to get to where you want to.
and so I've got for my show, this is my show. First song, second song, I go through.
Oh, I see.
And
Okay.
it's just right there.
Is it on right now?
I could get it on pretty quick.
Sure.
Just go to.
But they're such like a. I get why they're so expensive. They look like they're.
They are so expensive, but they're so reliable. Are we on there?
Let me just. It's probably ridiculous, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's really gorgeous.
No sound here.
Everything is Stranger Things.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I also have this is my favorite. I got a little bit of it.
Oh wow.
Like organ.
Nice. Yeah.
Right.
Sexy.
And that
So
sounds
sexy.
kind of DX70.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, beautiful sounds. Beautiful.
And there's effects in there too, like reverb and stuff.
Yeah. So it's right on the board. Let's just say we're working with this sound, or let's do something flatter. 6 is good. Actually, is it 5? This one. Go up an octave here. But that's so good. Okay, so if I'm just affecting the chorus here,
Mm-hmm.
but then I can just. These are my effects, A and B. So primary and secondary.
Okay.
So all the verbs are on the second option. So you could, if I was to affect the hall and then the mix. Right there.
Oh, okay.
It's right in front of you.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's
That's nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
then phase or chorus. I usually use a chorus, and then I always the LFO just a little bit.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, it's right. This is the most important part, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
But then also the filters right here, which I use live a lot.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
Can you attach that to a pedal too?
Yeah, I use I use a sustain pedal. If that's what you mean.
Oh.
Not like an effects pedal.
Oh, okay, but could you take the filter and put it onto a pedal if you wanted
Oh
to?
yes, I believe you could.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done that though.
Cool.
What else is cool about it before we move on?
Oh, and then so you do play with the sustain pedal.
Yeah, I play
Yeah,
with the same book as
right.
the piano, right?
Oh, right.
Not with synths, but you got your envelopes, and your filters, and then a mixer right in front of you, which is really nice as well.
Yeah.
Because then I'm mixing the second oscillator. Sometimes I'm mixing that a little bit more, and then you get the lower end.
Yeah.
I usually have it an octave lower, and you can oh, it's off. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can change the frequency. So yeah, sometimes it's neat to give it a fourth or a fifth,
Mhm.
but then turn it really down. And it gives like a harmonic sound.
Okay.
Harmonic.
And
thing.
then it messes with your preset, but that's okay. You just go
yeah, you just reset it.
reset. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
As soon as and then you just save. It's easy. You just click right
Okay.
to save.
It's a great looking
It's
tool.
just right. Everything's in front of you.
Everybody who has a Prophet on studio tours, they have all their synths around the room and the Prophet's on the desk.
Yeah.
It's the go-to. It's
so
the
funny.
thing
That and like you can, I don't know, for me, like if I'm programming stuff, just the MIDI is like, I don't have that
reliable.
setup with the
Right.
60.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
right. Yeah.
You know, it's just,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier. We were running, like you can run MIDI with like the mini log that was there for a while, but to have the space
Absolutely.
is a lot nicer.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't have. I don't have a MIDI controller. I try not to use MIDI too much, but I use the Sub 37 for that.
The
But
nice thing is like you can play the MIDI
Mhm.
and then you can record it, like you can run it back through, and so you can have your part played,
oh, okay.
and then you can like
Then
mess
change your
with,
mind later.
You can mess with all the sounds as you route it back through and re-record
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah. Right.
So
That's cool.
yeah, it's definitely, it allows you to do things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do on the fly because
Yeah.
you don't have 4 hands
Yeah.
to like work on it. But yeah,
And so I know you said that you mix you hired somebody to mix your band stuff. Do you
Mhm.
guys mix in here, or are you
yeah,
mostly?
like I say, for a lot of the publishing stuff that we do,
Yeah.
we'll get it to where we're happy with.
Right.
We'll run like the isotope mastering plugin.
Sure.
We'll make it, get all the levels nice. And
Right.
That's good. That is good enough. Like
Yeah,
it's good enough for TV.
totally,
It's good
yeah.
enough for commercials, things like that.
Especially if they're not going to use the track.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then for us personally, like for like passion projects,
Yeah.
or if we have artists that are coming in that like are putting a lot into a single or
Yeah.
into an EP or whatever, an album. If we want that extra, just whatever out of
Right.
it, we have a couple guys that we really, really trust
Okay, cool.
to mix.
Do you guys record other bands, or is this just your space?
We do. I've done stuff for friends.
Yeah.
So what we're starting to do, actually, this has been solely for our creative projects up
okay.
till a couple, months ago.
Right.
I've started doing a lot of like custom drumming stuff for people, and we're starting to take on like other clients as well.
Okay.
Another thing that we're starting to do is we have a lot of friends who do film professionally.
Yeah.
And so we're starting to get into like scoring, and
Okay.
so Brad's actually like just kind of a bit of our like musical history. Brad is a conductor. He works with choirs.
Oh, cool.
He got his master's at U of T.
I worked choirs in Toronto and Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then I did my degree in composition, so I
Wow.
come from that kind of
Yeah.
I guess you could say classical background.
Yeah.
It's a bit broader than that. It's just
Sure.
it's just that sort of history of organic stuff.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
really cool.
So he conducts actually he conducts the Toronto Bach Youth Choir,
Wow.
and then he also conducts at what's the
Christ Church Cathedral, right on James Street.
on James
Oh,
Street.
wow.
I'm the conductor there. At that
Wow.
church. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. And you live in Hamilton, right?
Yeah, I
that's
live in
right. That's
Hamilton.
awesome.
Yeah.
But then
That's a huge asset, I think.
yeah, it is. It informs our music.
Yeah. It
But
is.
then having an interest in some of these vintage
Exactly.
stuff, that's a really
Mhm.
cool
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah.
And then Aaron's background is he studied at Mohawk College, or did the jazz program there
Yeah.
with drumming,
wow.
and then he earned a degree finishing it at York University.
Yeah. For
Oh,
the
wow.
jazz performance.
That's
So
great.
jazz, classical,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
both coming from the organic music part,
Yeah.
and then coming together, adding a little bit of gear.
Yeah, yeah.
Not too much gear.
No, it's cool though.
It
That is
kinda
really cool.
creates
Yeah.
this kind of musical
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And so what I was saying, even with that, is it lends itself to that like kind of like
Cinematic.
film cinematic scoring.
Mhm.
kind of
Sure.
world. Like
yeah, right.
Brad knows how to work with how to properly like
Orchestrate.
Yep.
strings
Yep.
and woodwinds, and knows
Yeah.
where
Choir.
things should be sitting and
Right.
what range.
That's huge. I have a go-to guy for that because
Okay.
I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
I find
Yeah.
that so intimidating, and I just go by my ear. But then, can I just want to look at the rack for a sec here? So we're running off of a MacBook Pro, and obviously it doesn't have those horrible USB-C
Oh my gosh.
dongle things.
Yeah.
I have like the rare time I have to record off my MacBook, my new MacBook, I'm like hanging one piece off that's holding like
Yeah.
3 pounds of.
And they lose.
plugs.
Like my wife has one of those, and just like every 50 seconds, I feel like it's like loosening and falling out.
It
Like,
is.
It's just like
It is. It's brutal.
So annoying.
Yeah, they really screwed us on that. But you're still running off of this. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it's got a lot of juice. When I bought it, I pushed the specs to
Yeah,
the max
that's
for
good.
every
That's
part
good.
of it, including like the visual specs
Oh,
on it
okay,
as well.
cool.
Like I'm not personally into film, but that's what my wife does. And,
Okay.
So yeah, like the displays on it and everything.
Well,
kind of top notch.
I like even my iMac at home. I bought in 2013, and I got good specs, maybe like middle of the road.
Yeah.
But 7 years to be running. I'm looking to upgrade it this year, but
Yeah.
I don't need to upgrade it. I want to. But
Yeah.
7 years for a computer is insane.
know.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I eventually in the very near future, I'm looking at upgrading to something a little more.
Right.
It's staying here and it's not going
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm very jealous of the Space Echo.
Yeah.
So jealous. So how do you use this?
a lot
Every
of
way.
ways.
In every way, yeah.
Mixing.
Mixing, or do you use it? Put a synth right into it.
Synths into it, drums
into
into
it,
it,
vocals
into it.
vocals into it.
Kalimba into
I was
it?
gonna say kalimba into it. Like,
Wow.
we'll do a lot of weird things. We'll even like plug this in.
Oh.
This says like 1/4 inch, so I'll like run that
No
through it.
way.
And like
Oh,
we'll get
man.
Brad to sing into it and get some weird verb down.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do a lot of stuff with it.
Is there like a mix knob on here, or you're just?
Yeah, I mean, well, you have your like reverb volume, and then your echo, like your delay as well, and then you've got all your different like reverb only sections, and then reverb and delays.
Interesting.
And,
I know a guy who swears by this for snare. Puts the snare
just a
through it
little
with like no
kickback?
effects, like or just like for the juice.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll use it for slapback. I haven't used it for just running through, but
This is something I'd like to get very soon, but they just keep going up and up, and they're harder to find.
This one, as I haven't had, like I before I got it, a lot of guys were like, man, just use the plugin, like like constantly having to like repair it.
Yeah.
And I've had it now for 3 years and have not had an issue.
Wow.
And sometimes Aaron will be playing it while I'm playing.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so different.
Yes. Yeah.
How am I going to play the synth
Yeah.
while he's manipulating it on live?
Right.
It's like
Totally.
Playing it live sometimes is unique.
Yeah.
You get that special synth.
I had I recorded on my last record. I recorded Rhodes into the UAD version of this.
Yeah.
And that combo was incredible.
Yeah.
They must be from the same era.
The Rhodes and the Space Echo is a special combo.
To be honest, we use the UAD plugin probably equally as much.
Oh, really?
Like when you get lazy and it's
true,
already in there, or like you already have a part and you're like, well, maybe if I just try throwing something on, and you can mod it all on the computer too, and with automation. And
but the UAD plugin costs like 1/10 of that, so I might as well just get the just buy the real thing. So we got the Apollo on here, one of the originals. That's great.
Yeah.
And why do you have that? What's the
So I got
deal there?
this first actually when I started playing out west with a band called Zurban, and they were like straight into I think at the time they were top 20 in Canada for radio. Like they're doing a lot of stuff. It was all big ticket festivals that I was playing with them, and at that point I knew absolutely nothing about anything that wasn't like my drums and a tuning key, like wooden sticks. So anything else I was like over my head. And so they had me running all of their tracks through Ableton. Brand new. These were brand new when I got it. I think I got it for like $700.
That's cool.
And then I remember telling my friend about it, and he went to do the same thing, and Long McCoy was like, no, we did this for one other person. I'm not losing that much money on it.
Amazing.
So I got that first. It was terrifying. Like my first show, they were gracious. Second show, we were playing Canada Day in Vancouver, and it was the Zolas, us, and then Blue Rodeo. We had 15-minute changeover times with no line check.
Right.
I was running every spot available in the back.
Wow.
With no line check or anything.
Yeah.
I'd never done it before. I was like looking at my iPhone, like trying to like look at all the notes that I had. And the first track that started the show is 30 seconds of no click, just like ambient noise. And so I'm like praying to Lord that like I'm not about to hear like the click coming through the mains in front of 100,000 people. Like I was like about to throw up. Like I'm watching the cymbals.
Oh man.
And I did it right, but I just remember like my second time using this thing and using Ableton, and like I was just like,
oh my gosh, I hate all that stuff in a live setting, because live is where it all goes wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But so I got this, and then my buddy was just upgrading a bunch of stuff. I think I told you this earlier, but he sold me this with like plugins, the warm audio, and the Pre-73. And
I used to have this same rack mount unit. I had two of these. And sold it. That was probably mine. Sold around it. What's interesting is I actually have an Apollo, and I have always thought about getting this because it gives you 2 extra inputs, 2 extra shark chips, right? And then it's also like a great monitor controller.
It's a great monitor.
Yeah, so it's really a smart, and then you can take this when you're going to the cottage or something, want to
That's exactly what it, I've
been wanting to get one of those.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, I know this is obviously the older version. They've got all kinds of new stuff out now. And
I wonder if you can get one of the older ones for quite cheap now.
I was looking the other day. You can find them I want to
Now
say
they're
like
about $700.
yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you can get the mono or whatever they are, like the solos.
Yes, the solos.
I think you can get them for like $400.
And that's still like one extra input,
Mhm.
right? And another chip.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's
I
it's been great. It also is extra headphone, which is nice when it's constantly three of us working.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I also use this if I'm like running a lot of different headphone lines.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, so we got a distressor here.
Mhm.
Congratulations. Everybody wants one of those. I love this. I rented this a long time ago, and I love this.
The 31?
4-channel. Yeah. I mean, I still don't have an API preamp, and I would love to get that.
I have been really enjoying, I can take you up there later, but I run my drums for the most part in a incredibly small closet.
Okay.
And I'll do a very tight 4-mic snare top, kick, a little trick mic, and then a mono overhead.
Awesome. I got to hear. Yeah, you got to show me some of your stuff.
Yeah, and like I'll run it all through the 3124. And it's just such a bright, clean, kind of like bitey preamp.
Yeah.
All of the signal coming in, all the sounds are just like very, I don't know, like very real, very in your face, close.
I love
crisp.
And
So,
I remember.
Because of that, it's like it's right in front of you to manipulate anything you want.
Right.
You're not having to fight with what the preamp's offering already.
I remember when I rented this, it was maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and it was before I knew anything about gear. And I pulled it, and it cost me for one day, it cost me like $80 because it's a $4,000 unit or whatever.
Yeah.
And I pulled it out of the box, and it has this terrible interface of like these like metal knobs and colorful buttons. I'm like, this thing is worth $4,000. You'd think there'd be some like colorful lights or something. Yeah, it looks like a toy.
Honestly,
but
anything.
It's so good.
Yeah, I like.
So forgiving.
I would love all of my gear to have some cool VU like screen on it with knobs.
Everything has to be military.
Everything's bouncing, but it is what it is, and it sounds great.
It does sound good. And we did an interview with the Taylor Dupree, who's an electronic musician, and he runs API. And he made an interesting point. A lot of people associate API with drums and guitars being that punchy rock sound, but it's so good for synths because you want that transient, you want that crispness.
Yeah.
So pairing the synths with the API is pretty cool.
And obviously it's just super easy. That's how we have, our synths coming in mono 1 and 2, and you just a quick switch from the mic to line is just very accessible. You don't have to go in the back or do anything annoying. So.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. And then you got some Neves here. Those are EQs, right?
No, those are pre's actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Those are the 511s.
Okay. And then what's this one here?
This is a Purple Biz MK.
Okay. Just another pre.
Yeah, I've done, honestly, like I mostly use this if I'm doing like bass and stuff like that. I'll run in through that.
You have more pre's than you need, really.
So I mean, originally I was
take some home for you.
One short of my age.
Originally, I wanted to have enough pre's, like if a full band was coming to, I wanted to to have that actual like. But what I might be end up doing soon is I'm thinking of getting rid of just this whole space here. And get rid of these two guys. I've got a lot of mics too, and so I might get rid of some of that stuff. Pare down. I was really looking to get the API 55.
Yep, that's good for mixing or for recording.
For recording and mixing. Just having that dual EQ.
Yeah.
And then I would really love to get a LA2A.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious statement.
Yeah, everything in me is like, I want the like OG like.
Sure.
But I don't think I'm going to be able to liquidate $10,000 worth.
Well, you're going to have to sell a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how liquid you want it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. That is really cool. It's a good setup you have there.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I mean, I know a lot of home studios. I've thought that too. I've thought, in case I'm doing drums, I should have all the pre's for that, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous because in a home studio, for me anyway, different for you,
Yeah.
but like I'm doing drums every 2 years.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
most of the time it's just channel 1, sometimes channel 2.
Yeah.
And you have all these like dormant pre's.
Yeah. I mean, I do run like, so I have usually 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this would be 5. Then
Right.
I'll run drum mics. I'll do either like a vocal mic or a vocal mic. When we did the live off the floor, we were utilizing every single one of them. Like we were.
Sometimes you just use this because you feel bad for it, right? You're just like,
actually,
he gets
yeah.
lonely, doesn't get used.
I might throw if I have like just like a room mic that I don't
Yeah.
really care about.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, yeah.
And then you convince yourself it sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Vintage.
love that. I love that.
I'll
pre.
run it through here and just trash the sound anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
right.
like, who
I
cares?
think I think like a lot of studios, home studios start with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Everyone
sure.
has that pre 73. I loved it. I had 2 of them
Mhm.
and they were great.
The guy, I mean, I don't know too much about it. The guy bought it off of, he did some mod to it. He
Oh,
put
okay.
An extra couple $100 to make it
Yeah.
sound like the original.
Right,
Or
right,
so he
right.
says.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'll try to find some kid who's getting into things to pawn it off on.
You
eventually.
always will. Yeah. And actually, I mean, you all like having all these preamps, if it wasn't cash tied up, it is nice to have for that one
Yeah,
time
yeah.
you need everything.
Absolutely.
Well, and I guess you do have so you have 10 inputs then, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So you don't, yeah.
Yeah, I got 10. And also,
And there's pre's in here too, right?
yeah, I think there's 4 digital pre's on this.
Yeah.
2 on that. And I mean, I've got a lot of UAD
Sure.
plugins as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
I mean, I love having outboard gear. Like I would love
Same.
to run like stereo compression. I would love to
Mm.
have things coming in that are
Yeah.
already EQ'd and like just a perfect
Yeah.
whatever. But that being said, I can also make it sound great with the UAD plugins.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
waves, with like whatever. You know,
Totally.
there's-
Yeah. That's great stuff. Well, you guys have an awesome room here, and we're gonna do
Thank you.
a lot of. I'm still discovering stuff, but we're gonna do a lot of B-roll afterwards,
Yeah,
and
cool.
we'll show the living room out there with the piano, and
Perfect.
I want to see your drum room. We'll take
Yeah.
a shot of that.
Awesome.
But thanks so much for having us come by. I
Thank
really
you.
love this
Very
space.
yeah,
Thank
It's
you.
very, very vibey. And when I saw it on Instagram with the plants and the scents, I'm like, I gotta get there. I have to get
At
there.
nighttime is pretty nice here too.
Yeah,
Go for
that's cool.
coffee sometime.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys got to
absolutely.
come back and just
Yeah.
hang out.
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is my kind of place. All right,
Sweet.
thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank
Jordan.
you.
Thank you.